Kia ora, and welcome to Wednesday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz, and today we lead with news long-term rates just keep on rising ahead of the change in the US administration. And now the US dollar is slipping back. But first up, however, the overnight GDT dairy pulse auction brought the expected changes. The skim milk powder price extended its recent rises, and the whole milk powder price essentially held its full auction recovery. This event didn't signal any changes or concerns. In the US, their Redbook Retail Pulse Index rose only 5% last week from the same week a year ago, but to be fair, the base was strong. No unusual signals here either. There were two January sentiment surveys out in the US overnight. The NFIB one, for small businesses, was quite bullish and at a 6-year high. And the Real Clear Markets TIPP one, for investors, went backwards unexpectedly, although it was off a 40-month high. As expected, overall American producer prices rose, rising 3.3% from a year ago, although the rise wasn't quite as much as the 3.4% expected. While the lid was kept on by the unchanged services component, we need to keep an eye on the goods rise in December from November, which jumped 0.6% in the month, an unusually high shift. They won't want that to repeat. In a new report, the US Congressional Budget Office is projecting a sharp change in American demographics if the cap on migration is enforced. Americans will join Japan, China and Europe by growing older quicker and much quicker than previously expected. And while this is going on, their population growth will stall out at 370 million in 2055. The viability of safety net programs will involve difficult choices then. In China, their December new yuan loan data was released overnight, and there is some impact from their recent stimulus efforts showing up here. It was expected to show a weak borrowing impulse, and it did, just not as weak as was anticipated. Chinese banks extended 990 billion yuan in new loans in December, above the 580 billion in November, which was the lowest since 2012, and above forecasts of 850 billion. Still, this was the lowest December rise since 2017. China is making a stable yuan a core policy objective. It is a stability against the US dollar they are managing. A sidebar update for the once high-flying Evergrande Property Development Company. A Chinese court has ruled it must make payments it hasn't the resources to make, and a Hong Kong court has ordered its liquidation. The next saga will be the legal proceedings against its auditor PwC by the liquidator. And we should also note that today is the start of their enormous internal annual migration. January 14 is the kickoff of their Spring Festival travel rush as workers begin to head home for the long vacation over the Lunar New Year. The Golden Week holiday around this event formally starts on January the 28th and runs until February the 4th. But people are on the move now, including for international vacations. After slipping in December, the Westpac Consumer Sentiment Survey for Australia slipped again in January. Homeowners and renters got more pessimistic about current conditions. But these current conditions are better than year-ago levels, and their forward-looking views are positive now. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.81% and up 4 basis points from this time yesterday. This level is threatening their October 2023 high, and prior to that, its highest since 2007. And the price of gold will start today at $2,671 an ounce, up $6 from yesterday. But oil prices are down $1 from yesterday at just on $77.50 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is now just on $80 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar starts today at just on 56 US cents and up a half a cent from yesterday. Against the Aussie, we're up 30 basis points at 90.5 Australian cents, but against the euro, unchanged at 54.4 euro cents. That all means our trade weight index starts today at just on 67 and up 40 basis points from yesterday. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $95,517 and back up 3.7% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has remained high at plus or minus 3.3%. You can find links to the articles mentioned today in our show notes, and you can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again tomorrow.